and I wouldn't be praying to the RNG gods if I didn't have to. This is make or break. I need a good roll, or I need some hacks in my favour. I know I outspeed. You click play.
Poor, weak little shroom. I was the strong one. We were the fallen. And all you had to do was listen to me. I made us strong. I made us better. And what do? You throw it away. What, your little council of boomers not help you out enough? Pathetic. You need me. I was the best of both of us. No one else was on your side. I was there. You disgust me. Or was it all about fun now for you? Weak. Loser! No! No! I created you. You were a bad joke. Don't you see? That was my mistake. But this is so much more than that. This is about learning and fun for me. And you have no part in that. You never will. We're not the fallen. I don't need you. You're nobody. I'm the only one. I don't need you anymore.
Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and welcome to week 7 of the PPL Bolt Division. Yes indeed. Now, last week, we got a really big win actually last week. Really happy with how things went. New Pokemon into the team, and we managed to get a really important, valuable, and I think pretty well played win. So, very happy with that. And, you know, last time we got a win, we tried to springboard off it and failed. This time we're going to succeed, I hope. But it's not going to be easy, but it is going to be exciting. I've been looking forward to this week for quite some time, because week 7 we take on my very good friend FranCTrode and FC Volcarona. His links down in the description below, make sure you check them out. Frank has been a very good friend of mine for a very long time. We've had some great battles back in the day, and it's always a pleasure to go against him. His team is... It's a very sort of frank team, I think, and it's going to be a difficult one to prep for. He's made a couple of changes here and there, but his final team is going to be Landorus Incarnate, Slowking, Heatran, Gardevoir, Noivern, Overquill, Electrode, of course, Alolan Sandslash, Galarian Zapdos, Decidueye, and Garganacl. Terra Captain's on his side. The Electrode, of course, which can go Electric, Grass, and Ice, and the Alolan Sandslash. That can go Ice, Water, and Fairy. Now, very spooky, scary stuff. That Landorus Incarnate is terrifying. There is a reason that there were times where Landorus Incarnate was banned. He's got quite a lot of very good pace on his side. Galarian Zapdos is a menace. Electrode is the fastest thing going. It's the mascot, and both Electrodes, both Hisui and Regular, have done very well in Draft League with Terroring available. He also, of course, has the potential Snow combination of Chilly Reception, Slowking, plus Slush Rush, Alolan Sandslash, which is scary, and he's got the pace of the likes of Electrode and Noivern to put the hurt on me. So we're going to have to get a little bit creative with this one, in some areas. In others, we're not being very creative at all. So, for example, my first Pokemon is something I've been bringing a lot. It is going to be Scarfed Cleavor. Once again, is here. 244 speed, Jolly Nature, max attack. This is allowing us to outpace the Gardevoir if it's coming Scarfed. We have Stone Axe, Close Combat, U-Turn, and Tailwind on there. Scarf Tailwind, I didn't need a fourth coverage move, and that's just going to be useful in case of something unexpectedly scarfed. This guy is outpacing, like I say, a Scarfed Gardevoir. It's also outpacing a max speed Electrode, which is quite nice. So that is our Scarfed Cleavor. Next up we have our Scarfed Hisui and Samurott. Yes, Hisui and Samurott is here. We're running a mixed Scarf set here, 216 into speed with, I think that's a hasty nature, it's negative defense. We've got Ceaseless Edge, Flip Turn, Hydro Pump, and Ice Beam. I think this actually is the one that specifically EV to outspeed a Scarfed Gardevoir if he brings it. I don't think he will be bringing that, spoiler alert for later, with my thought process, but just in case. Yeah. Scarf Samurott actually does really nicely against this team. I have both Scarf offensive hazard users going on once again. And this is probably going to be where I lead with. Assuming he might want to lead with the Landorus, I have enough EVs on me to take a Scarfed Earth Power if he is a Scarfed Landorus lead. I'll also take any form of U-turn from him and pretty much just go for a Hydro Pump if he wants to try and hazard stack lead against me with the Overquill. If that comes, I would imagine that would be Fizz Def if it does, and Hydro Pump will two-shot it. So yeah, Ice Beam on there for stuff like the Noivern and the Landorus, his quad weaknesses. Ceaseless Edge and Flip Turn just pretty much standard on Scarf Samurott. Next up, we have Bohemian, the Thunderous Therian. We are a timid nature, max speed, 180 special attack, and 76 into defense. Wild Bolt Storm, Volt Switch, Weather Ball, and Sludge Bomb. A few things going on here. That 76 in defense will allow it to take any 2 hits from a Galarian Zapdos, who is a problem for me. If it gets out of control, it'd be nice to just at least tank 1 hit and guaranteed to take the next one if it's Scarfed and go from there. It has to be max speed in case it isn't Scarfed Zapdos, and to speed tie with the Landorus Incarnate. Wild Bolt Storm, Volt Switch, fairly standard stuff going on there. Weather Ball, you know, he does have the Snow Core, so that will give me a 100 base power Ice type attack, which is super nice on a powerful Electric type special attacker. Sludge Bomb is on there, and this was a very late... Oh my goodness, go away. Update thing on my computer. Yeah, Sludge Bomb was actually quite a late addition, because it took me a little while to realise that one of the things I'm almost certain he'll be bringing is a very specific Gardevoir. He doesn't have a massive amount for my my Thunderous Therian. His electric immunity is his Landorus, which is going to be something he's not going to want to risk probably. Which to me means he's probably going to be bringing specially defensive Trace Gardevoir to switch in to my Volt Absorb Thunderous Therian. So I have Sludge Bomb on there to try and catch it. Other than that, Bohemian's very powerful. Jobs are good. Next up we have Sylveon. This is effectively one of our only defensive options on the team. We've gone fairly mixed here, mostly physically defensive. Nearly max HP, 220 defense, Bolt Nature, 40 and Spadef. This is allowing it to take most special attacks, and in the case of like Noivern and Electrode and the Gardevoir, it'll also take 2. It'll also guaranteed from full take any 1 hit from a maxed out Specs Heatran if you decide to bring that. We've got Hyper Voice, Wish, Shadow Ball, and Baton Pass. This is going to be a switch into a lot of special attackers who are then going to want to get out of there, so Baton Pass is useful. I am running Pixelate Hyper Voice. I know the Electrode could be around, but I have Shadow Ball, and with Wish I should be able to take it on 1v1 unless it has Taunt, which would be a problem, in which case I'm just going to have to hammer it with Shadow Ball and see what happens. But then we have the last two members of the team, and this is where things get special, because next onto the team is going to be Qwilfish. Qwilfish is here. I'm going to scroll down so I can see exactly what we're running. We are running Max Attack Jolly, 216 into Speed, 40 into Spadef with the Eviolite. We have Crunch, Gunk Shot, Liquidation, and Swords Dance with Swift Swim. With the Swords Dance up, Hisui and Qwilfish can two-shot or one-shot. You can actually one-shot the majority of FranC's team with the Swords Dance up. It can two-shot things, potentially like Garganackle, Sandslash, and Overquill. Outside of those three, everything drops in one hit to the combination of Crunch, Gunk Shot, and Liquidation, especially Terra Water Liquidation. Yeah, I don't really enjoy the idea of Snow against me. I certainly don't want to be swept by an Alolan Sandslash when he's been ribbing me for having the original on my team. So yeah, this is my way around Snow. But it is relying on Rain, and Rain has to be set up by something. So for that, we have the final member of the team coming back to try and haunt FranC. The reason it's named this, we have Redemption, the Tornadus incarnate. Last time I brought Tornadus against FranC, it let me down and lost me the game. This time it is coming in a support faculty. It is here to allow Qwilfish, hopefully, to do the sweeping. We have Damp Rock as the item. We have max HP, 176 speed, timid nature, the rest 84 into special attack, Rain Dance, Taunt, Focus Blast, and Hurricane. Oh yeah, we're going balls to the wall on this one. This should be able to take on the Slowking trying to set up the Sandslash. I would imagine that Slowking would be his switch into this guy, so I can set up a Rain Dance on the Slowking coming in. I can then taunt it to stop it from going for Chilly Reception, and then start Hurricaning in the rain, or try and get out into my Qwilfish to set up as and when I can. There are a few things on his team that I might be able to set up on. Things like the Slowking, the Alolan Sandslash, his own Overquill perhaps, even the Decidueye and the Garganackle potentially. Even with no investment, this guy, Qwilfish, is still hitting over 300 defense. So it can even tank hits from the likes of the Galarian Zapdos, excuse me, if it needs to. The Terra Water, I'm hoping will help play around if I'm trying to set up on the Sandslash. Both its stabs will then be resisted, and Earthquake won't be hitting as hard. And if it's like Terra Water, that's not going to do anything. If it's Terra Fairy, then it's pretty much the same. But yeah, that's kind of the team and the game plan going into this. In terms of what he's going to bring, it's a difficult one. The Landorus is an absolute shoo-in. I know it's one of his favourite mons to bring. I'm certain he'll be bringing it. I'm absolutely sure he'll be bringing that specially defensive Trace Gardevoir. I think that is a certainty. The Snow Core, I really expect both Slowking and Sandslash, I think, will be here. Other than that, realistically, he's probably going to want one Speedster. The Galarian Zapdos is just a problem for every team, so I could see that coming. I don't see Garganackle. Realistically speaking, it could be the Electrode. He could bring both his Terra Captains. I don't think the Heatran's coming. I don't think the Garganackle's coming. But I think everything else has a good chance to come. I think the absolute certainties, though, are Landorus, Gardevoir, Slowking, and Alolan Sandslash. The others, kind of up for debate. I could see the Overquill coming in a Poison Point way. I don't think he's going to bring Swift Swim to counter my potential Manual Rain to counter his Snow. If he does, then he deserves the win. But he's certainly, I don't think, not going to be bringing Intimidate with my Annihilate potentially kicking around. Annihilate has a really good matchup against his team. Unfortunately, it's just too slow. And everything that's faster than it can, like, bop it. And a lot of other stuff does, like, 80%. So I don't want to bring Annihilate this time. But those are my thoughts going into the battle. So without further ado, let's get into the team previews and see what FranC has brought. So, as you can see, FranC has brought the Landorus, the Overquill, Alolan Sandslash, Decidueye, Gardevoir, and Galarian Zapdos. So no snow on his side unless he's manually setting it up with the Sandslash. No Electrode, no Noivern, so not too much in the way of pace on his side, which I'm very happy to see. Leads, we could be looking, for me, it's going to be either a Scarfer, potentially Galarian Zapdos or Landorus, or that Overquill. So my plan doesn't change. I'm going to lead with my Scarf Samurott and just try and hit something hard straight off the bat. So, here we go. Battle against FranC, amazing image on his side. I'm not sure how he's managed to get that, but here we go. FranC is coming in. He is going to lead off with his Overquill. I'm going to go straight into my Samurott, and like I say, I'm just clicking Hydro Pump here. He doesn't have what looks like he doesn't have great immediate answers to it. So yeah, I'm just going to click Hydro Pump and see how much damage I can do to this thing straight off the bat. If it has T-Spikes, I can absorb them later, but we're just going to see what he can do. He is going to immediately switch out, I guess fearing me going for Ceaseless Edge and wanting to get into his Sandslash early to spin them away. As you can see, instead I go for the Hydro Pump, land it, and do a clean like 60% to this guy. For me, this means he's probably physically defensive. Like he could be an offensive build with Manual Snow, but it doesn't look like it to me. It looks like he is just a spinning option, physically defensive, and was in to try and get in ahead of any hazards going up on his side from Ceaseless Edge. But I have no reason not to go for another Hydro Pump here. I'm going to outspeed him, even if he is like Scarfed offensive. So I can kill him if he stays in with another Hydro Pump. Either that, or he's got to go out into something to try and take this hit. He is going to withdraw, and he is going to go into, as you will see here, the Gardevoir. And as you'll see, Gardevoir comes in, and it has Trace. Like I knew it would, it is going to be, from the damage you'll see here, that specially defensive Trace set that I thought he would bring. So we got that right, which is nice. However, I'm scarfed into this. He will be able to beat me one-on-one with any kind of fairy stab move, so I have to get on out of dodge. Now, Sylveon is always going to be my play here. Given that this thing is looking very bulky, it seems unlikely that it's going to be able to do too much to me. As you see, he goes for the Will-O-Wisp here, which is fine. Sylveon doesn't mind Will-O-Wisp, and it's better than taking a potential Toxic later down the line. Plus I have Wish to get back any health. He has the leftovers, as you can see. Now, there is an option that he could be Calm Mind. Like, bulky variants of Gardevoir do still run that. So my play here is to go for Baton Pass, because if he switches out, I'll get Initiative, and I can react to what he's going to go for. He's maybe a bulky set, but he's still going to outspeed me. So, he's going to go for the Draining Kiss, so I'm thinking maybe he is a Calm Mind set, and he just wanted to get some health back before seeing what I was going to go for. Like I say, I'm just going to go for Baton Pass, get that slow Initiative, and look to start hitting this thing on the physical side. Thankfully, I have a fair few Pokemon that can do that. Kleavor is going to be the choice here. He's Scarfed, he will outspeed. U-turn will be the move of choice because it's going to do a clean like 50% to Gardevoir if it stays in, and I can just go back into Sylveon on that. If he switches out, I can then get my own switch initiative once again and get a more favourable matchup against whatever he goes into to try and take a hit from Kleavor, which, looking at his team, is most likely going to be the Overquill, but we'll have to wait and see if that's what FranC decides to do. So, not wanting to take a big physical hit from my Kleavor, FranC is going to switch out. He's going to make the safe play and go back into his Overquill. We're going to get some nice U-turn chip on that, and that's a good amount. That's like 20%, and he does show the poison point, which we were expecting, but that's fine. Kleavor is Scarfed, it is a hit and run mon. We can U-turn and go into something to try and take on this Overquill. It is kind of a shame I wasn't able to get hazards up already by this point, because I'm doing a lot of what I wanted this team to do, Volt turning around, getting initiative and forcing switches on my opponent's side. Thundurus is going to be what I go into here, because Wild Bolt Storm will ruin this thing's life. But this is where I'm going to put in a plan to try and catch the Gardevoir. Because this is where I'm going to... His Gardevoir's... It's taken like hits or two, but it's still looking fairly good. It's back to near full, so I want to try and catch it with a Sludge Bomb on switch, figuring that he's going to switch out with this Overquill into the Gardevoir as an answer to my very dangerous Thundurus. And as you'll see, he is going to withdraw, and he is going to go into the Gardevoir. Oh, I was happy to see this, let me tell you. Gardevoir comes in, traces Volt Absorb, but no, we make the prediction, and we're able to get a really good chunk of damage onto this Gardevoir. And just to top it off, we get the Poison. So that's going to negate his leftovers, and after this turn is done, that is going to take him to just around about 50% or below. So we're doing well against this Gardevoir, but now we have to wonder whether he's going to want to take another hit. And he does not, in fact, want to take another hit, which is very fair and valid. He is going to go back into his Overquill, which is going to be the best thing to take this Sludge Bomb. It still does like a respectable little chunk. And now this thing is around 50 as well, so what I'm very crucially doing is chipping away at his defensive core. Gardevoir, Overquill, and Sandslash are all around about 50%, which is nice. That is what we wanted to do as early as possible. I am going to click Volt Switch here. He's going to make the play though. He's going to switch out once again, but he's not going to go into Gardevoir. He's going to make the very offensive switch into his Landorus. So I didn't click Volt Switch, I actually clicked Wild Bolt Storm, but it's the same result. He's immune, and now I have to get out of there. He could be Scarfed, this could be a Speed type. Either way, I don't want any part of it. And also there's the fact that he could be mixed and have the likes of Rock Slide. He's run that before. And he could of course be fully physical. Either way, Sylveon is going to be my play here to try and take the hits as best I can no matter what he's doing. I can hopefully try and wish up on it. He might have Sludge Bomb, it's a possibility, but realistically here I'm expecting him to be going for Rock Slide to just try and deal with my Bohemian as quickly as possible. So Sylveon is going to be the play I make to try and counteract him. So, I'm going to straight up withdraw, get out of dodge, and go into Sylveon to try and see what this guy is going to do. And unfortunately, he goes for Calm Mind. Now on the one hand, this is good because he's not Scarf. That means both my Scarfers will outspeed him. On the other hand, he's a Calm Mind Landorus Incarnate. And to me, that means he's quite possibly Life Orb, and he's very likely just pure special, and one of those moves is going to be meant to take on the Sylveon. My play is to Baton Pass just in case he gets greedy, because I can go into a Scarfer, but he goes for Sludge Bomb, and because I'm Fizz Death, that just straight up takes out Sylveon. So Sylveon goes down, and now already I'm kind of scrambling. Here's the thing. I know with my investment that even if he has no HP, an Ice Beam will not take him out when he's at +1 special defense, and I don't have Aqua Cutter to get through on the physical side. Unfortunately, this is kind of what I have to do. What I need to do now is get enough damage on this guy with Ice Beam to the point where I can then bring in Cleavor and outspeed again with my second Scarfer. So Ice Beam is going to be the play I make here, and I just kind of have to hope that it goes well for me, because I just need damage on this guy as quickly as possible. So we go for Ice Beam, and that is going to do a lot but not enough. It's very close, but he is going to be able to go for Earth Power, and I knew I could take one at neutral, but at +1, not a chance. So, it's 6-4, things are not looking amazing, but we'll just have to see if we can go from here and bounce our way back into this. Obviously, Cleavor is my next best option. It is also Scarfed. Stone Axe will take this guy out, and I will be able to get up rocks, you know, for my troubles as well. So that is always and forever going to be my play here. He is going to withdraw though. He sees the Scarf coming, obviously, and he is going to make the play into his Overquill, which I'm going to be able to Stone Axe. As you'll see, this does a very nice amount of damage, and we get rocks up against him, which is nice. Another one will very easily take him out, and that will just put us at a much better footing. It's 6-4 now, and that's not great. Now, I did consider here going into Tornadus and getting up the rain to try and sweep, because I've got his walls down really low on health, which is what I needed for Overquill to do the damage. And maybe having not seen a berry or healing item or rocky helmet should have had alarm bells ringing about this guy. Because Kleavor is so good into his team, it is unresisted Stone Axe, and his team is quite heavily weakened. So maybe I should have gone into Tornadus here, but I was 6-4 down and I just wanted to chalk something up on the board. And as you'll see, he has the Custap Berry, and he had Destiny Bond. This is where I start to really panic. Because Stone Axe is going to hit, Kleavor is going to get another kill, Kleavor doing really well for the season, but unfortunately, arguably my best offensive immediate threat in the form of Scarf Kleavor goes down with him. And now I don't have that Stone Axe to fall back on. So it's 5-on-3, but his defensive core has been severely weakened, and pretty much, it's now or never. I'm going to go into Tornadus, as FranC is going to go with his Decidueye. It is basically now or never. I have to set up the rain and hope that Qwilfish, basically by itself, can do this. I only really have my Genies left, and of them, the only real offensive threat is going to be the Thundurus. So really, it's all down to whether Qwilfish can pull off a miracle. FranC is going to withdraw his Decidueye here, and he is going to go into his Sandslash, I guess looking to try and sack it off maybe for more favourable matchup. But this is where I'm going to reveal the Rain Dance. It is very much on. Sandslash is one of those things I identified as potential setup fodder for my Qwilfish, but I am going to taunt him first. I don't want him setting up on me, I don't want him using manual snow if that's what he's running, and I don't want him getting up any hazards of his own. He is going to Terra though, to show that he has it, more than anything else probably. So Terra Alolan Sandslash is going to be a Fairy Terra Alolan Sandslash, which is fine. I don't really have any problems with that. As you can see, I am just going to go for the taunt here, just to stop him doing anything with hazards or setup. As it is, he is just going to reveal the Terra Blast. I guess it would have been his best move to hit a Qwilfish incoming, but I need free switches into Qwilfish if I'm going to do anything with it at all. Now here, I immediately forget that he Terra'd. I go for Focus Blast, and it doesn't kill. It does hit, which is nice, but it doesn't kill. It's going to allow him to get off a Rapid Spin, and it also wastes one turn of my own rain. So that was a big misplay on my part, because Focus Blast doesn't get the KO. But what it means is I'll just go for Hurricane next turn, and, you know, take out the Sandslash, obviously. So here we go, Hurricane coming in. It's just a nice moment of personal redemption for me that I was able to get a kill against FranC with Hurricane from Tornadus. I know it was in the rain, I don't care, I'll take whatever advantage I can get to hit my moves. But Tornadus gets the kill, Sandslash goes down, and now it's up to FranC to bring something in to try and counteract me. And that is going to be his Decidueye. Now this kind of does scream that it's Scarfed. He would have no reason to bring it in otherwise. I go for Hurricane just in case he isn't, but he is going to go for the Poltergeist. That's going to come in and ruin my Tornadus. Tornadus goes down, but here's the thing. He's revealed himself to be Scarfed. He is Scarfed into Poltergeist, and that means free switch into Qwilfish. So in comes Qwilfish, and essentially it is now or never. I don't have as many turns of rain left as I would like. I have to make the most of them. He has no business staying in here, so effectively I have a free Swords Dance. Now Decidueye not only doesn't want to stay in here, but it also matches up well against my one remaining Pokemon in the back, Thundurus Therian. So he is going to switch out and go into his Landorus as we click Swords Dance. Now, he has 4 Pokemon left. I have 2 turns of rain. Anything I have will take out this guy. What I was wondering was whether he was going to try and switch around to get resistances to certain hits in order to waste my turns of rain and keep his fast stuff going. But I am just going to go for Crunch. It is my best overall move to hit as many things on his team as possible. So, I go in for Crunch, he's going to stay in with Landorus, and that is going to take out the Landorus. 1 down, 3 to go, with 1 turn of rain left. It's not going to be easy. In comes the Gardevoir. The Gardevoir comes in and traces my Swift Swim, but I was prepared for this. Even if he's max speed, I am EV'd specifically to outpace a Trace max speed Gardevoir. I know he's not Scarf, so that's not a problem. And from there at +2, I don't need to risk the Gunk Shot miss. Crunch will take him out. So, I'm going to go for the Crunch. That is, of course, going to take out the Gardevoir. A second one down for Quillfish. But very crucially, this is where the rain stops. Right now, it is Quillfish and Thundurus Therian versus the Decidueye and the Galarian Zapdos. In comes the Galarian Zapdos. Now, even with my no defense or HP investment, outside of something like Adamant Band, I don't think he can kill me. This is where I check the rain turns, because I was a bit surprised that I'd run out, but of course I wasted too many turns with Tornadus. But yeah, I think Adamant Band might have a chance to take me out. Outside of that, he can't. But I have to risk the Gunk Shot on him, otherwise he will live the hit. He's going to outpace and go for Brave Bird, his best move under the circumstances. We live quite handily though. Going to go for Gunk Shot, and that is going to hit, and that is going to take out the Galarian Zapdos. Brave Bird was his best move there in case I did decide to go Terra Fairy on the close combat, but now it comes down to Decidueye versus everyone else. Very crucially, Decidueye will probably beat my Thundurus. What's the big thing is though, he doesn't have the coverage as a Decidueye to hit both of my Mons. So what he has to do is hope that his Poltergeist does enough to this little guy. It is the moment of truth. Scarf Poltergeist versus no investment Eviolite, Hisui and Quillfish. He goes for it, and we live on 13 hit points. Gonna go for the +2 Crunch. That's gonna take out the Decidueye. Down he goes, and ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna be the game. Oh boy. What a fucking game. My god. That was a wild one. First off, shout out to Frank, my man, my boy, my friend. Thank you so much for the battle. Once again, everyone, check out FranCTrode. His link's in the description. He is a very good friend of mine. He makes wonderful content. I enjoy working with him. I enjoy battling against him. It's always a good time. Great battle. Interesting sets on his part as well. Things were looking really rough with the combination of Landorus like decimating a third of my team. And then that Destiny Bond play. Like I said, at the time, alarm bells maybe should have been ringing because there was no Rocky Helmet, there was no Leftovers, there was no Black Sludge, and there was no Pinchberry. So alarm bells maybe should have been ringing. But the thing is, at the time I was like, it's very likely that he's Assault Vest, physically defensive Assault Vest, as a sort of general catch-all wall. I didn't see Custap Destiny Bond coming in the slightest, and it really threw me at the time because, like I said in the narration there, Scarf Cleavor had a really good matchup this week. All of Frank's rock resistances, pretty much, were dual typed with a rock weakness, so he had no resistances to rock. So Scarf Stone Axe was just such a free move to click. So him being able to take it out there with Destiny Bombs so early on, respectively in terms of the game, was a really good play on his part and very good prep, and it threw me, it really did. But this is why we had the Rain Core. Whether or not snow came, that was always going to be my endgame plan. So yeah, being able to go in on that, it was very fortunate actually for me that he still had Scarfed Decidueye and was locked into Poltergeist, because that gave me the perfect opportunity. I mistimed my rain, that was my fault. I should have had one turn extra because of my idiotic misplay with Focus Blast on a Terra Fairy Sandslash. Also, shout out to Sandslash's nickname. Frank changed it specifically for me to be Cooler Slash. Dick, but I respect it. But yeah, Hisui and Quillfish comes through with the 4-0 late game sweep. Shout out to my boy Chase Seabad for doing the same thing a few weeks ago and inspiring the pickup. Big thanks to my boy Alex as well for helping me out with the build and optimizing stuff with me. But yeah, we do manage to take another 2-0 win. It's our first time we've won 2 games on the bounce. That's good. So we're 3-4, which is fun. We have a -4 differential. It's weird because playoffs is going to come down to the last week for like half the league. About half the league is on like 4 and 3, is on like 3 and 4, and thereabouts. And the differential, there's very little to tell between quite a few of us. So this is going to come down to the wire. It's going to come down to week 8, and that is once again not going to be easy because week 8 we have to take on Lux and the Groningen Gallades. See the Groningen Gallades? I'm going to have to check because I've forgotten. Are you the Groningen Gallades, Lux? Let's have a look and find out, shall we? No, Gentleman Thomas is the Copenhagen Gallades. Oh yes, he is the Groningen Gallades. There's 2 Gallade teams. What was I thinking? Yes, I had it right the first time. We take on Lux and the Groningen Gallades. I hope my cursor didn't come up on screen there too much. This is not going to be easy. Lux has a stupidly fat team, which is going to be very difficult to break, but we're going to give it our best. Like I say, playoffs are still within our grasp. We could still do this, which seemed so crazy at the start of the season, but we're going to give it a best shot. But yeah, thanks once again to FranC for the battle. Final time, his links in the description. Absolutely check them out. Like I say, he's one of my best buds. He does great content. There's loads of his Twitch livestream battle VODs. He does a Gotta Use Them All series where he's using every single Pokemon and trying to get a kill with them, I think. It's all a great laugh, so you should go and check it out. As well as all the other coaches in Bolt and Flare, their links down there too. But I'm going to get out of here. I've rambled on far too long. So, my final thank you to you all for watching. And I guess with that, I will see you next time. Laters.